better sound, huh?
Last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.
All right, I'm going to pause that because I don't want to get flagged for copyright infringement. But this is take one of the new Boxing Voice Radio on a new platform, streaming live to you on video for all your YouTube fans, and also, you know, coming through on the radio side. So I guess the topic at hand is to talk about Saul Canelo Alvarez possibly getting that Floyd Mayweather fight. So what's your thoughts?
Well,
Jackie?
Me?
Jackie?
Oh, I think Mayweather dismantles Canelo slowly over 12 rounds and proves to the world what I think we all think, is that he's really just been a built-up fighter who hasn't really faced anybody. I think it's a, not to be literal at all, but I think it's a death sentence for Canelo.
Death sentence. A little harsh there.
The Raven just got a touchdown. I'm excited.
well, it's hard to not favor Mayweather in this fight, and you know you want to say that maybe it's too soon for Canelo, but look how many fights the guy's had. I mean, it's got to be a time in his career where it's got to be sink or swim, and that moment has come now. You know, you really haven't seen any fights in his record thus far that would suggest that he's ready for a Mayweather. So there was no gradual testing grounds here for him in his career to get him ready for Mayweather, in my opinion. He looks very skilled against some of these other fighters, but again, they're just not nowhere near the vicinity of Mayweather. Now, they're not even a rung or two below Mayweather. They're like 10 rungs below Mayweather. So it's hard to really give him a shot in this fight. It's really hard. But again, you know, he could be better than we all think. This could be his coming out party. I doubt it. Obviously, Mayweather's been off. The frame of mind could be different. He hasn't really been talking about boxing that much. He's been trying to, you know, get into other things, talk about it. You know, his real estate thing he wants to do now, his artist, you know, his music thing that he wants to do now. So who knows how focused he is? He is getting older. The fight could be more competitive than we think, but it's just really hard to see Canelo pulling this one off unless he lands a big shot and puts Mayweather out, which I don't think is going to happen because Mayweather's so good defensively. It's hard to imagine him, you know, getting hit with a shot that's going to put him out. We saw Mosley hit him flush. He recovered. Does Canelo hit harder than Mosley? I don't think so. So it's going to be interesting, but I just don't see him having a shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think at this point we can assess that Golden Boy is going to keep him away from anyone that can put an L on his record. But there are some strong rumors that he may get the Trout fight on the Mayweather undercard. If he does, that will be something big. I mean, he would definitely quiet the naysayers and have the ability and opportunity to prove that how good he can be, really, because, I mean, up until this point, what has he done?
Yeah, I agree.
I really don't even see him beating Trout. You know, and this may sound crazy to everyone out there, but I would give Trout a better than average chance to beat Mayweather right now. I think Trout has the skills, and I think he's big, and I think he's quick. I think he has the athleticism and the boxing smarts to hang in there with Mayweather, and I think he has a better than average shot to beat Mayweather right now, the way he handled Cotto.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see, and you know, taking into consideration the last fight versus Cotto, I mean, I could see how one can believe that simply because the size difference and the problem that Cotto had with that size difference. So there's a possibility, but the only thing wrong that I see there is they're two Al Heyman fighters, and clearly two Al Heyman fighters that are on the up, not the decline. I don't think he, you know, basically.
Oh, it would never happen. But I'm just saying, I'm just speaking hypothetically. It would never happen. It would never happen, unless Mayweather was going to retire in his next fight, or if it was like a farewell tie. I just don't think it would ever happen. I don't think Mayweather would ever take the fight. Style-wise, it would be a very tough fight for him. Southpaw, big, and he's a guy who's not just big, but when you have a combination of size and skill, a lot of guys don't want to mess with that. Because you hear Pacquiao say he doesn't want to fight a Martinez. You hear Mayweather say they don't want to fight a Martinez. But let's look at it. They both fought Oscar De La Hoya, who's bigger than Martinez, or if not at least the same size. But the difference was he's not as dangerous in the skill department. Doesn't have the athleticism that Martinez has. So it's not always size. When fighters say I don't want to fight this guy because of size, that's not always the case, because a lot of Margarito's a decent sized dude, and a lot of Pacquiao fought him. Cotto fought him, and no one's running away from him. They both fought De La Hoya. He's a big guy too. So then no one's running away from those guys. They're running away from the guys who are big and also skilled. That's a nasty combination.
Now,
I think you're right, Joe, but I'm going to jump in and say my goodbyes because I didn't realize this was going to be live, and I would never let myself be seen like this. So hi, bye. Mayweather beats Canelo. See you tomorrow night.
all right, Jackie, thanks for helping out.
No problem.
So yeah, I don't know. I think either way, though, Vic, Beeb, that's a good matchup between either one of them, whether it's Mayweather versus Trout or Mayweather versus Canelo. It's just, I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense at this point. I mean, there's really no good matchups there.
But it's very, very dangerous to match Canelo versus Trout before the Mayweather fight happens, because I'm sure they know that's not a gimme. That's a fight that they know full well that they can lose that fight. It's not etched in stone that's going to be a victory for them, and then they move on to Mayweather. So do they match him soft one more time before Mayweather and put him on the undercard and showcase him a little bit, or do they throw him to the wolves right now, sink or swim? Do they put him in there with a Trout? Are they that confident about him? I don't think they're that confident with his skills. I really don't, because you think about it, he's a world champion. He's got 40-something fights, and he's still really fighting guys who aren't nowhere near his level. And they've got guys that are older, guys that once were good and still have the name, but don't have the ability that they once had. So...
Beeb, let me interrupt you. It's funny that you say that, because I was thinking the other day, there's so many people high on Gennady Golovkin, and if you think about it, Saul Canelo Alvarez has a better resume than him. Even Danny Garcia has a better resume than him. I mean, everybody's calling this guy a monster and things like that, but he hasn't even faced... Well, he has faced one old vet. That's about it.
But a lot of that has to do with his amateur background. So much, because he beat so many of these big names as an amateur. And that hype or those accomplishments are being carried over into his pro career. But I think that's wrong to do that. Let's see him beat guys like that on that level as a professional, and let's put obviously the amateur background means something, but look at a guy like Mark Breland. He was undefeated as an amateur, won an Olympic gold medal, and he was a good pro, but he was nowhere near the professional that he was as an amateur. He was nowhere near as good. You know, we've seen guys like even Howard Davis Jr. He won the most valuable award, the most outstanding boxer award in the Olympics, I believe in 1980 as well. And you know, he was just an average pro. So maybe Golovkin has that style. I mean, obviously he's a puncher and he knocks people out as an amateur, but those are only 3-round fights. What if someone gets past those mid-rounds? What if someone can hang in there with them? Will he be able to carry the power late? You know, we've seen him struggle a little bit. What was a fight he had? It was, I believe, with Uma. Did he fight Uma and he had a little tussle with that, if I remember correctly? And that was the fight where Uma weathered the storm. And when you weather the storm against this guy, Uma weathered the storm. Doesn't look as impressive. So what if someone weathers the storm against him? Will he be able to fight the way he fights in the first half of the fight, in the second half of the fight? You know, obviously, not everyone can look good every time out, and some guys have off nights here and there. But Uma's a guy you're supposed to really beat. I mean, you're not really supposed to struggle against an Uma. You're really not. And that fight was telling. It's hard for me to just put that in the rearview mirror and discount that. So my thing is this, and I hate to sound redundant, but I just want to see someone take this guy into the deep waters, and I want to see how he reacts. I want to see what happens if a plan B needs to be implemented during the fight when plan A is not working. Will he be able to dip his hand into the bag of tricks and pull something out of it, or will he just pull out a piece of lint? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'm dying to see that. That's one of the main reasons I'm so excited about that Rosado-Golovkin fight. To me, that's the main event, not even the Orlando Salido-Garcia. I mean, I know that's going to be a very exciting fight as well, but I'm more interested in this one.
And you know something else? Obviously, fighters talk before a fight. But one thing that I don't like when I'm listening to the fighters talk, when I hear fighters predicting 1-round knockout, 2-round knockout, that tells me right then and there they're not anticipating a long night. So what if he does end up getting a long night? Mentally, will he be prepared for that? Because he's already going in there thinking, I'm going to walk right through this guy. And I don't think Gabe's going to go away quietly. I don't think Gabe's going to go away quietly. I think he's going to be there. He's going to be there right in his chest, and he's not going away. And I think this guy thinks he's going to just blow on Gabe, and he's going to fall over. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen, I don't think. I strongly believe that is not going to happen. But I think in his mind, he thinks that's going to happen. So that's where, I'm telling you right now, I'm real excited about this fight. This is going to be one of them fights where we're going to get more than we ask for. I really believe that. I really believe that. Maybe I'm being a little overly optimistic, but you know what? I just feel this could be a fight of the year candidate. I'm listening to Gabe. I'm seeing Gabe recently, and I know what he's going to bring. And I'm looking at Triple G, thinking he's going to walk through him. This could be 2 Rams button heads, right? You know, this could be 2 Rams button heads next week, and you know, someone's got to back up. And I want to see who's going to back up. Is it going to be Gabe or is it going to be Triple G? That's what I want to see.
Well, I don't know, man. Have you made a pick? Because I'm going with Gabriel Rosado.
I'm going to take Gabe.
Crazy.
I'm going to take Gabe. I'm going with Gabe.
I know a lot of people are going to think that we're crazy.
I'm taking Gabe.
They're wrapped up in the hype, but I got to go with the guy. And look, I was wrong last night. I picked Rico Ramos thinking that his experience in the ring was going to be more for Ronnie Rios. And in the later rounds of that fight, it was. But, you know, he didn't do enough in the beginning of the fight, and that's why we got the decision that we got. He's always been known as a late starter, so I don't think Gabe is going to do that, though. You know, I think Gabe is coming in here, and he's coming in here to win. And he's going to lay it on the line, man. And I know that there's few people that believe that. But this is going to be a fight. This is going to be a real fight and a real test. And it's going to be funny to see HBO faces if Golovkin doesn't pull it off. I mean, an interesting thing that Gabe told me was the fact that Gennady is sparring with such big guys. I mean, don't you think that some of that work that he's put it in sparring could be taking something out of him before the fight?
Well, it all depends how good these guys are. You know, size does not always translate into a good fighter. So if these are just big guys that he's able to just pound away on and they're not really quick enough or sharp enough, you know, to reel off some crisp combinations and land big on him, if he can evade a lot of the shots, and these are guys just putting weight on him and holding him and kind of trying to push him into the ropes and just fight a physical fight with him, and they're not really good punchers per se, because big guys aren't always good punchers. They're just big, strong guys, physical guys. That doesn't always translate into a hard puncher. So if it's those types of guys, we're just getting inside, leaning on them, pushing them back, seeing how, you know, making them work to fight them off so he can get his shots off. In other words, if these guys just wrapping them up, tying them up, pushing them back, trying to back him up into the ropes, make him use his legs a little bit, then that could be a whole different type of training. That could be a whole different type of training. And that's going to have a wear and tear on him in a physical aspect, but maybe he's not getting hit, so he's not really suffering punishment to the head or the body. So I'd have to see the sessions. I mean, like I said, some guys are just big and they're just physical. Other guys are big and they can punch. So I'll just have to see, you know, what happens in the fight. If I see Golovkin trying to fight an inside game, then maybe that's what he worked on with these big guys. Guys laying on him. He's trying to like lay in there with them, see if he can handle the strength and deal with the strength. Because I believe, you know, arguably Gabe could be looked at as the physically stronger guy. He's just a big scrapping type guy. He's a bigger guy than Golovkin. And Golovkin is really doesn't seem to be a physical fighter when I watch him. He's a guy that likes to fight on the outside. He needs a little bit of room to turn those shots over. He's not one of those guys that can throw those corkscrews on the inside. He's a guy that likes to throw the long, straight shots. You know, so he's kind of loopy with that hook too, and he throws that hook from a little bit of a distance. He's not a guy that throws a short, crisp hook. He's a guy that throws kind of a looping haymaker type hook. And we've all seen when he throws that, he opens himself up, and that's an invitation for Gabe to slide right right inside that punch. Okay, he can get inside that punch with a short right hand. And then that will open up Gabe's body attack. So I just got to see how Golovkin comes out, and from what distance he wants to fight this fight. If he's able to control the distance and fight this fight more on the outside to the mid-range area, or if Gabe is able to kind of smother him and get right in his chest. I want to see if he's able to adapt to those types of areas in there. If he's going to adapt to those different ranges. If he's going to be able to fight on the inside, or if he's only going to be effective on the outside to the mid-range. I want to see if he brings a little bit something extra to this fight.
I don't know, babe. Anything that I've watched on Golovkin, he seems really one-dimensional, one-track minded. He's just like going forward, and he's trying to get rid of his opponent, but he's not doing anything special.
Well, there's not much science to it. There's not much, he's basically trying to punch through you. Whether if you're going to block the punch, he's going to try to hit you and throw that same punch and knock your guard down. Instead of finding an opening, he's forcing an opening with aggression, with just hard come forward pressure, and every punch seems to be a power shot. There's not any, there's no jab. It's a punch that's used very few in between in his fights. He's a decent body puncher, but he seems to be more, a big head hunter with that left hook. That seems to be the punch that he's looking to land, and that's pretty much the money punch, the home run punch. And I think if you can pick up on that and try to sneak a right hand in between that, right inside that wide hook, then you may be able to stifle this guy's offense.
Now,
he's looking to hit guys so hard that they don't even want to block his punches, that they end up dropping their hands.
hold on, we got a caller. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? You're live. Who's this?
Hey, can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
All right, it works.
So what's going on, brother? We're talking Golovkin Rosado right now, but I'm pretty sure you want to talk silky smooth.
No, you know what I was going to tell you, though, that Machine Gun Tapia, did you see, I didn't even realize he already fought first round knockout.
Who'd he fight?
Heavyweight from Mexico, Valenzuela, I think his name was. It was like
So basically you're saying you don't know how to pronounce his name.
Valenzuela, I'm pretty sure is his last name, but he's a heavyweight from Mexico. He doesn't have a ton of fights. He was like 5-0, I think, or 6-0.
Okay. Yeah, man, we got to check that guy out. When they going to put him on TV, though?
I don't know. But he's talented, and he might be somebody to look out for. The heavyweight division's pretty shallow.
So, at Matt Up from Twitter, let me know. What do you think about the rumors that Trout Canelo landed on May 4th?
It'd be a good undercard.
It would, right? I can't believe that they would do that on the undercard because, I mean, you're already getting Floyd. That's supposed to be your $65 worth right there.
Yeah, that's, is there any rumors of who else is going to be on that Floyd undercard?
I haven't heard anything else. I got that text yesterday, and I couldn't get any confirmation.
It's not going to be from the same venue, right?
It's probably going to be a split venue the way that it was before. But let me ask you, since you've called into the last show, how's the quality sound on this?
Sounds fine. Sounds fine. It took me a second because I had to put my headphones in, but
fine, or is it better?
I'd say better because you're not cutting in and out or anything like. But then again, it wasn't you that there was a problem with on the last one. It was sometimes the other people that you had on they sounded a little distant.
Won't you go ahead and take this time to, I don't know, I guess address anything this way the caller could get to hear you?
I can hear him perfectly. He sounds crystal clear, so I'm just wondering.
Is anybody talking right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't hear him?
No.
Hold on, we got another caller. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey,
Oh, he hung up. We should call him back. I got everybody's number. I could call him back right now. So wait a minute. Matt's saying he doesn't hear Beeb in the queue.
I would assume that I would have to call in to the show, to the Mixler for people to hear me.
No. Absolutely not.
No?
No. You should be being heard. But Matt, anything else? Matt? Oh, I got Matt on hold.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, you're there. I'm sorry, I had you on hold. I mean, it's a whole new switchboard, and I got to get used to it.
Oh, so that's how it works. Yeah, but wasn't it even on that other show that you could, when they put you on hold, you could still hear? It doesn't do that?
Yeah, like this. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
yeah, this is Garcia. Yeah, my phone went out. Damn.
Garcia?
Charger. Yeah.
Where you calling from, brother?
I'm calling from Fort Hood, Texas.
Nice, nice. So what's on your mind, man? We're chopping it up. We're talking about the rumors. Canelo looks like he's getting that Trout fight on the Mayweather undercard. What's your thoughts? You think that's a good fight? Is it about time excuse me, not Trout, but Canelo stepped it up? Do you think it even happens?
It's overdue, man. It's been overdue. I mean, they're trying to make him the next, Mexican go-to guy, and it's really nothing to credit him for that. So it's about time he steps it up, and I highly doubt it's gonna happen, because as far as I've been reading on Twitter, it's like they're saying that Mayweather is gonna face Canelo in September. But if he fights Trout, I mean, it's a high probability that he'll be his own curse, so to speak.
Now,
Since
we got you on the phone, let me ask you, Trout, not Trout, Golovkin-Rosado, how do you see that fight going, and who are you picking?
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of tape on either of them.
On either? There's a lot of tape on Rosado.
As far as what I could find, I mean, yeah, Rosado got more than Triple G. I mean, Triple G, he made his debut, and it's like everybody became, an automatic fan of his. And as far as I could tell, he seems to be the favorite. But people sleeping on Rosado, which the way it works, people see the losses on his record, and they see Triple G's record, and they go in Triple G's favor. But I think it can go either way.
Now, you're saying he's the favorite. You're just going off of what the media is saying, and that's not what you feel, right?
That's not what I feel. Like I said, I mean, the way it works with boxing fans, or the ones that I've run into, is like it's all about the record. It's like some people will see 5-3 losses on one guy and the other guy undefeated, and they automatically they're gonna go for the undefeated guy, but it doesn't always work out like that. And I'm glad 2012 was the year that it was, with all the underdogs winning and changing things up in boxing a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, man. So now, you said you didn't watch much tape of Rosado. You couldn't find anything?
Not too much.
That's odd. He's been on TV all last year. He had 3 fights on NBC Sports Network. He had the Soto Carras fight. He had the Shakur Powell fight.
I saw was Soto Carras, and I think his name was Whitaker or something.
Yeah.
September? Yeah.
And that was the last fight, the Whitaker fight, and he was the mandatory for the IBF for K9 Bundridge, but he decided to move up in weight and take on this dangerous fight, in the sense that Golovkin does have an extensive amateur background. He's knocked out Boutte, but I don't give him as much credit as most people. I mean, what's the big deal? You knocked out a guy that everybody knows had a weak chin anyway. We seen Andrade do that before and get robbed of the knockout. We seen Frotch do it. So what's the big deal? I mean, it is, I guess, I don't know. What could I use here, Beeb? I guess it's I guess it is something to talk about, simply because the knockout came with headgear and 20-ounce gloves. But I mean, other than that, what's the big deal?
Well, again, it's.
I feel like even the fact that it's on the undercard is kind of like, I think it should be the main event. I feel like it's going to be that good of a fight, and I hope it goes through.
Well, I agree. I mean, this fight could upstage the main event, no doubt. That definitely has the potential to do so, given the two styles that are involved here.
Caller, are you hearing my co-host there? Because this is our first time using this platform, and we just got to check everything. Like, today's really a test show.
Yeah, everything's good. Yeah,
You heard my caller? I mean, my co-host talking just now.
Nah.
All right, he's gonna speak right now. Go ahead, Beep.
What I just said was I believe that the caller is correct. Given these two styles.
Did you hear any of that, caller?
I ain't hear anything from anybody else.
I didn't hear it either, if you can hear me.
I hear you
I can
perfectly,
hear,
Matt. All right, so we got to figure that one out. Definitely. But, Garcia, if that's it, I'm going to let you go and just continue to broadcast and try and figure that out for the next call. I could definitely hear Beeb.
All right, man.
But tomorrow, we'll be live again, and we're going to have a few guests. We should have Michael Zuski on. We're going to have James Bashir, which was the trainer of Hey, Beeb, who's James Bashir train again? I think he's got Jonathan Banks and somebody else.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a ton of fighters in his stable. I just know a few. It's something I'd have to do a little research on.
All right. Well, Matt and Garcia, thanks for calling in. Store that number because we will be live tomorrow.
7 o'clock.
All right, brother. But we definitely got to figure that out because they're not hearing you. That is weird. Because I ran that test, and I don't know. We were definitely being heard on the phone. But, yeah, man, it was weird that he said he didn't see any tape of Rosado. I mean, if anybody has a lot of tape out on himself, it's definitely Rosado.
Well, it's definitely something you're going to have to dig for because not everyone watches those MSNBC fights. You know what I'm saying? And I know Gabe's been on ESPN a few times too, but I just think a lot of fans really only watch Showtime and HBO and pay-per-view.
And that's kind of true. I mean, because a lot of times I find myself telling my own friends what's going on Showbox. It's like, you know, people don't pay attention to Showbox. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, Showbox fights are better than ESPN fights, in my opinion. I mean, they're more competitive.
Yeah. Definitely. So, man, everybody's excited about this Rosado fight, man. But this undercard, it's a good undercard. You know, we got to applaud Top Rank for this. They have definitely put together something good with that card, man. I mean, very good undercard, 6 good fighters, maybe like 4 great trainers. It's definitely stacked. But in the news, looks like Hopkins is definitely taking that fight with Tavares Cloud. The press conference for that is going to be in New York at the Barclays Center on Tuesday at 12 o'clock, I believe. Maybe 11:30, but no, it's at 11, and it's going to start at 11:30, and then somewhere around 12-something, they're going to be cutting a cake for B-Hop, man. His birthday's Tuesday. He's going to be 48 years old, still fighting, still in title contention. I mean, that's something special. And it looks like my co-host dropped off. But I'll definitely keep it going, man. You know, I just can't wait for this this card on January 19th. You know, we got some great fights, and I'm excited. I really don't care what's the undercard and what's the main event, but it's definitely a good card, and you know, everybody should tune in. The fight that might steal the show, though, is Rocky Martinez versus Burgos, man. Mini Burgos. That's going to be an all-action fight, man. You guys need to tune in. I don't know if you remember Rocky Martinez. He just won that title, and he had an all-out fight. it would have been a draw had it not been for that 1 point deduction. But it was definitely a good fight. The guy comes to fight, Puerto Rican fighter, and it's just a great one. It might steal the show. Beeb, I see that you fell off, but I was just telling everybody that's listening about how good the Rocky Martinez versus Juan Carlos Mini Burgos is going to be.
Wow, that's going to be great too. That is going to be great too.
That's going to be an all-out war, man. I mean, Rocky Martinez comes to fight. He lays it on the line. We've seen that in his last fight when he won that title. And Mini Burgos, he's got a solid punch.
Absolutely. And he's going to bring a work rate. He's going to bring an aggression. He's going to bring a lot of good combination punching to the dance. So it should make for a very exciting fight. As you said, I mean, this card from top to bottom is a treat. It's definitely a treat.
Looks like we got another caller. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
This is Black Superman. What's good?
Black Superman, what's going on, baby?
What's up with you, brother? What's on
Chilling,
tap?
man. Just running this live show today. It's not on schedule or anything. We're just testing out this new platform, seeing how this new sound quality is, because Blog Talk is they're running like 32 kilobytes per second. This right here should be CD quality as advertised. How do you hear it?
You sound fine. I don't know if anybody else is on the line, but I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, I do have a co-host, and the last caller said he couldn't hear him. I haven't figured it out how to bring him on at this point yet. I can hear him fine. I don't understand why nobody's hearing him.
Yeah, I don't hear anything else. I don't hear anyone else.
Well, no, he
But
hasn't
yeah.
spoken. He
Oh,
hasn't
okay.
spoken.
I heard you guys talking about the possible May 4th and having Canelo and Mayweather. Are they still talking about having Bronner on that card?
Excuse me?
Are they still talking about having Adrian Bronner on that card also?
No, Adrian Broner is going to be on Seth Mitchell, Jonathan Banks rematch February
Right.
16th in AC at Boardwalk Hall again. Same place he fought DeMarco.
Yeah, I know he said that, but I heard he was talking about he might. I mean, depending on how this fight goes, he might be on that May 4th card with Mayweather.
Oh, yes. Yes. He said that in the not the press conference, excuse me, the conference media call. He said that there was talks about that and that he's not looking past Rees, but he definitely is looking to get on that undercard if
So you know that's going to be like that is going to be like a record amount pay-per-view. I'm talking about as far as cost. That's not going to be a $60 pay-per-view or $70 pay-per-view. They're going to charge about $80, $85 for that pay-per-view to have all three of those guys on at the same time.
yeah.
I don't think you can. I mean, because you know how much Mayweather's going to demand himself, and then Canelo. I mean, I don't see how they can do that for a $65 pay-per-view. I can't see them doing any less than $75 on that.
Well, I don't know if they could do more than $65, dude. That's gonna be a tough one to get anybody to pay that type of money.
Yeah,
over that money.
I understand that, but you have to look at the quality of a fighter that they're going to have on that ballot. I just don't see unless they're planning on stacking that card like that and going over, I mean, exceeding all pay-per-view records. Then I can see them, being able to divvy up the money that way. But I don't see all three of them on that card for a $65 pay-per-view. I don't see it happening. Canelo's at the point now where he's a bona fide money draw. So he's making his money as well as what Mayweather's going to make, and Bronner's on his way to being that. But aside from that, I mean, it sounds like a good card. If they do put that on, I mean, I'll be happy to watch it, happy to pay the $65 for it if that's what it's going to be. But I just don't know about it, man.
Yeah, you and me both. You make a great point. I never thought about that. I mean, when you got a guy like Broner, Canelo, Mayweather, Robert Guerrero, I think he got 1.2 million to fight Berto or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know it was 1 million. I don't know exactly what it broke down to, but I know he got $1 million for that fight. So I mean, none of these guys are coming on the cheap really here, man. So and another thing is, one way I see it working out is if Bronner sees this as the springboard to his own pay-per-view success, and he's willing to kind of take, none of the back-end money and all that. If he sees this as a springboard to him being on his own pay-per-views later this year, then I can see it happening that way. But other than that, I mean, I think that's a lot to cram on the one card. But aside from that, what do you think about February? Has some, not great fights, but they have some good fights. I'm expecting to see Ishe go ahead and beat up on K9. I think he's too good of a boxer for K9. And he has a pretty good chin. I don't think I've ever remember seeing Ishe on the ground in his career in the times that I've watched him fight. And I don't really see what more Seth Mitchell can do. I really don't see what Seth Mitchell can do to change the outcome of what happened. It may last a little longer, but I still think Jonathan Banks takes that fight, man.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I'm shocked that HBO bought that rematch. I know they invested a lot of money in Seth Mitchell, but after watching him, lose that way, and I don't know. It's just second round knockout. First round wasn't really that much competitive. I mean, he did what he can do, but Jonathan Banks outboxed him the first round, and then in the second round he got caught clean. I don't really know what HBO is assuming that's going to happen in this rematch.
The only thing I can think of a reason why they would sign up for that fight is if he does the same thing again, then they got Jonathan Banks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the only reason I can think of to even rush Seth Mitchell back into this fight so fast. I mean, just for the simple fact the way he lost, the way a guy who clearly outboxed him, I mean, it wasn't even close. He counterpunched him. He done. I mean, it was not even close. So I don't know why you will rush a guy into this fight, and B, I don't see what the changing outcome will be, being the fact that you rushed him into this fight so fast. So
hold on, Black Superman got another call. You live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey, this is Ashley Knuckles. I'm just listening in.
Hey, what's going on, Ashley?
What's happening?
Chilling, man. We're just trying out this new platform, man. Blog Talk, man. You know how shaky they are. And this is supposed to be CD quality. How's it sound for you?
I mean, I'm getting a good feed on my end, bro. You know what I'm saying? I like everything y'all doing, man, with the streaming and all that. That was a fantastic idea, man. I wish I would have thought of it first.
Hey, man. You're always welcome on here, bro. You need to get behind the camera and jump in this queue right now.
I don't know how to do it. What do I do? Go to my channel and do live streaming or something?
No, you gotta have a Google account, and you should have one since you got a YouTube channel. It's by Gmail.
Call Google Plus.
Then just look for me on Google Plus. It's Nestor Gibbs, and once you add me, I'll add you back, and I'll send you an invite. You could get right on this one.
And you said it's Google what now?
Google Plus.
All right, hold on. All right, and just look for you
and add me, and I'll send you an invite right away, and you should be able to jump right in.
Okay. If I need help, I'll call you back.
No problem.
All right.
So yeah, man, Black Superman, you make a lot of good points, man. You put that in my head now. It's weird. It's weird. How are they gonna be able to get Broner, Mayweather, Guerrero, Trout, Canelo all on one card and only charge $65?
Are they gonna do that? Very easily. Very easily. But they're gonna put this fight everywhere they can. You know how they do those closed circuit events? They're gonna have so many of those going on. I just think that you got Canelo and you got Mayweather. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of buys, man. People are gonna buy this fight. When you say that, are you saying how they're going to pay all these guys? Is that what you're implying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're
Hey,
gonna,
I'm about to fall off here and go back to YouTube because I can't hear B, man.
Oh, you can't?
No, I can't hear.
All right.
All right, bro.
Let me see this.
they're gonna Heyman's gonna work it out. You best believe Heyman's gonna work it out.
Well, I hope you're right. It'll be interesting to see what guys like Broner get paid. But let me see. We got a few comments.
A lot of callers here for a test show, bro. Wow.
Yeah, man, we get a lot of support, man. We love everybody that loves us back, man.
I'm pleasantly surprised that all these dudes are still hanging around on a Saturday night, man. Where's the women at?
No boxing tonight, B. No boxing. We're the entertainment for tonight, man.
Where's the women at?
But so much going on, man. Judah Garcia. A lot of guys still believing in Judah.
Not me. Not me.
You learned your lesson?
I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Judah. Please, I hope no one takes it as a disrespect to Judah. But it is what it is. It is what it is, man. I mean, the empirical data has shown us, what happens when he steps up, what happens when he's in there with a guy who's physical. As skilled as he is, he can be broken. And Garcia has a style where he can break you because he ain't going nowhere either. You can hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and this guy keeps coming back. I mean, Khan was hitting with some good shots, and he was going right back at Khan. Every time that Khan hit him, he hit him right back. It wasn't like people say, oh, well, Khan was having his way those first 2 rounds. Yeah, he was winning them first 2 rounds. Don't get me wrong. But Danny was still punching with him. And Danny's the type of guy where he can punch with you. And if you're not hitting it with something that's going to stop him from going forward and stop him from getting his offense off, then guess what? He's going to keep coming at you, and you're going to be in for a long night. And Judah's the type of fighter when he's put in a fight where the tone is set that it's going to be a long night, he's not liking that. And he's looking for a shorter night. So we've seen that. So this could be the case in this fight as well. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, man.
No doubt that could happen. He could get broken mentally and physically in this fight.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Danny Garcia is riding very high right now. The confidence level is up there, and I believe it's going to translate into this fight more so than any other.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Danny. I don't see how Judah could even pull this off.
Danny's gonna have to
pick
walk.
Judah, babe. I don't see how they assess this. Who has Judah beaten that's at the very least been a B+ fighter? If you want to give him credit for Corey Spinks, okay. But what else has he done?
Well,
who has he beaten?
You know they're gonna keep saying, "Oh, well, he gave Mayweather trouble in the first 5 rounds." Whoop-de-doo. It's a 12-round fight.
That's just absurd.
I get tired of hearing that too, but such is boxing.
That's crazy. Yeah, I can't understand it. I just can't. I wonder if I touched something, man, because I know that I did a few tests with Jackie, man, and the phone calls were coming through, and I was able to hear her. We didn't do it backwards. This is gonna be a little mission, man, but we're gonna get this thing right, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: the sound quality on the other end, in terms of the caller's quality sound, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. It's leaps and bounds Blog Talk. Blog Talk sounds like I'm listening to people talking in a tunnel. These guys, I feel like I'm right on the phone with them when I hear them talk. So
Yeah, well,
that's
this
way
is, at the very least, this is 96 kilobytes per second. So it's a good platform, man. It's a very solid platform. Just got to figure that out, man. How to get you on there. I mean, people hearing you on YouTube, no problem. So that's a good thing. Actually, let me swing over to YouTube, see if there's any comments on there for us. I tell you what, I bought this new mic, and this thing is sensitive. You hear the dog barking?
Yes, I do.
That's not even in my location. That's outside. Thing is like set to hear everything. But did you catch last night's fights?
You know what? I watched ESPN and I missed Showbox. I'm actually watching Showbox right now in the background. What?
Okay.
I watched ESPN. I'm watching Showbox right now as we speak.
Yeah, man.
I'll probably watch him again. I'll probably watch Showbox again tonight too when I get a chance.
Hey, Ashy, I just got your request. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can bring you on in. Get some takes on here from Ashy Knuckles.
Oh, we're here. Oh no.
How do you know? How did you?
It says it up here.
Oh, we were already friends, Ashy.
Okay.
Gotta send you an invite. Do that right now. Babe, keep the air going, man. You're giving me dead air here.
Okay. All right.
You all into that Showbox, huh?
Well, I was kind of popping over onto the YouTube channel, and I was trying to see if I could see the show, but I didn't see the show up on YouTube. Can you see it?
No, you gotta follow the link, man. Go to Twitter.
Oh, okay, my fault. But next week
Josh, you got two Google accounts, so I'm gonna just send you an invite to both, man, because you got one with a picture and one without.
Yeah, I mean these Showbox fights were real good last night, though. They were competitive, and like I said, I haven't seen a ton of Arquette, but he's definitely a guy that has some potential. I mean, it's fun to watch, to say the least. I mean, no doubt about that.
Who, Arnett?
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, man. Arnett kind of struggled last night.
Well, I mean,
Shocked.
I don't want to take anything away from the opponent's performance as well, because he was fighting very well himself. He's a little bit awkward, you know what I'm saying? And so it was one of them fights where it's going to be hard to look good in, throwing these looping right hands, haymaker type punches out of nowhere, kind of unorthodox. When a guy fights like that and you're not expecting it, catches you off guard there, you know.
Yeah, definitely, but he was supposed to be a lot more talented than his opponent, and his opponent just simply outworked him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where you don't know too much about the opponent, and on paper it's being talked about as a tune-up fight, a showcase type fight. Then you just end up going with the flow, because you don't get to see these lower level opponents sometimes, these so-called journeymen. You know what I mean? There are some journeymen that get put on a lot, but someone like this gentleman that fought last night, he's not a guy that I've seen too much of, so I don't really even know how good he is.
He was an undefeated fighter until last night.
Yeah.
Hey, Ashy, just to oh, there you go. He's in there. Ashy Knuckles in the flesh.
What's happening? What's happening?
You looking like Deontay Wilder in there, brother.
Yeah. Ashley's in shape now, man. He's all trimmed up, man. So you know he's looking good.
Man, this was a fantastic idea y'all did, man. Tell them.
This is better. This is better than
Glad you enjoy it, man. We want you
Hold
to
on,
come
let me
every time you
mute
want,
you.
bro. These things are open to the public, man, so that we could all chop it up every time we do a show, man. So you're more than welcome. Just let me know, and I'd send you an invite every time we go live.
Oh, no doubt. That's cool. That's cool. We'll see what happens, man. Because I know on Monday I'm gonna be in a different part of the state, so it'd be kind of hard. But anytime that I can do it, I'm gonna do it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great.
Very good.
Okay.
So
Cool.
there's a lot of comments here. Would Trout beat Mayweather?
They're not liking that. They're not liking
No, they're asking the question, and you kind of answered it for them.
Yeah. I think it could happen, especially right now.
It's definitely a tough fight for Mayweather.
No doubt.
It's an interesting one, man. Trout has some size on him. You know, I had the opportunity to meet him, and he's not a little guy at all, man. Because I met Rosado, who was also before this fight 154-pounder, and they're totally different in terms of size.
Yeah, so I'm getting good feedback.
TV, but is that you, Ashley?
No, I'm getting some feedback.
No, I'm trying to figure some things out over on my end, man. You heard a recorded version of my voice.
Oh.
But it's cool.
But we're getting feedback. Like I can hear myself on your end.
Right now, still.
Yeah.
If you have it, Ashley, if you have it open on the YouTube and in the Hangout, you're probably gonna get feedback.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You gotta mute the YouTube video.
Yeah, you gotta.
I got it muted. But if you can still hear yourself, then it's a problem.
No, I think.
Yeah,
I can still hear it a little bit. Yeah.
Still coming.
Now, how about now?
Very little.
A little bit better.
It's there.
Hold on, let me just close it out then.
Yeah, let's try that.
That should do it.
Still there.
No shit.
Might as well move on and let Ashley figure that on out.
I know it.
So, B, I mean, break it down, man. I mean, because you picked Trout, and you didn't really go into detail.
I'll explain to you why. Because Mayweather likes space. He can fight on the inside, but he tends to like space a little bit because he's a counterpuncher. And he likes you to come to him, and as you're leaning forward, then he likes to throw the counter shots, catch you on the way in. But a guy like Trout, who kind of throws change-ups a little bit, you know what I'm saying? He throws a jab, but he throws it in different rhythms. Like, you know, he'll throw like a soft jab, he'll double a jab, he'll jab to the body, you know what I'm saying? He'll hook off the jab, or sometimes he'll come right back with a straight left hand. So he's a guy that's going to throw a lot of different looks at Mayweather, and he can fight him, you know, on the inside and on the outside. He's a guy that has the reach to touch him on the outside, and he showed me something in the Cotto fight. He can actually hit in the pocket and fight very well too. So Mayweather is going to have a hard time finding a comfort zone against a guy like Trout. With Ortiz, Mayweather knew that, you know, on the inside he was quick. Like, no matter where he fought Ortiz, Mayweather knew he was quicker. He may not have that luxury against Trout. So he's going to have a hard time countering Trout because you have a hard time timing him because of Trout's speed. And also Trout's quick with it on his feet as well, so he can get to those spots before Mayweather can get set. And if he's able to do that, the element of surprise could really work in his favor against the Mayweather. And that's how you're going to have to beat Mayweather. You're going to have to, you know, keep changing up the looks. Don't keep doing the same thing against him. Don't let him allow to pick up on your rhythm, because he's a type of fighter offensively. He's always changing his rhythm, and unfortunately for his opponent is not able to kind of give him different looks in there. You know what I'm saying? He's fought guys who are good, but he hasn't fought a guy, again, that's big, athletic, and strong. You know what I'm saying? You could look at a lot of his opponents, and Trout is probably one type of opponent he's never faced. Now, he faced the De La Hoya, who's a big guy. You know what I'm saying? He's faced the Cotto, who's kind of a stocky, strong guy. But, again, Trout is a big guy with reach. He's long, he's rangy, he's gangly, and he's physical. And he's strong. May not be the hardest puncher in the world, but he's going to hit hard enough where Mayweather's going to have to, be on his P's and Q's. He can't get complacent in there. He can't sit there and say, well, you know what, I can walk through this guy. Because he tried to walk. He was actually walking down Ortiz at points in that fight because he was able to evade the shots. He may not be able to evade all of Trout's shots because of Trout's hand speed and because of his accurate punching and just because of Trout's versatility, whereas Ortiz didn't have that versatility that Trout brings. So I just think it's a tough fight style-wise for Mayweather.
You're right, Ashley. Did you handle that? Hold on. Talk now. You gotta unmute yourself. At the top, there's a little microphone. Should be red.
Oh, okay. How about now?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, cool. So Mayweather Trout, huh? That's the talk right now?
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, that's a very interesting matchup. For one, that's one I don't think will ever happen.
Me neither.
But if it ever does happen, I mean, you would have to give this guy's credit because for Trout to be such a significantly bigger guy, because as you can see, in my opinion, he dwarfed Cotto in the ring. He looked way bigger than Cotto. And this is not just a significantly bigger guy. He's agile. He's skillful. He's rhythmic. He's rangy. He's more powerful. He's stronger. He got a stiff jab that he can throw from 1 to 12. And he got decent boxing skills coming from the left-hand side. So it's a dangerous fight. But one thing you got to give Floyd props for is his ability to fight southpaws. I mean, this is way different from the days when he fought Chop Chop Corley, where he struggled in that fight. Basically, every southpaw he fights since then, he dismantled with ease. So, barring the few difficult rounds he had with Judah before he took Judah's jab away from him, I guess he could potentially do the same thing to Trout. I think it would be kind of hard for him to go over the top of Trout's jab like he did with Judah, as Judah didn't have as much reach as Mayweather, and Trout definitely does. But hey, man, if there was ever one thing about Mayweather, if there was a guy that he fought and there was a blueprint on beating that guy, Mayweather always used his own. He never used anybody else's blueprint when beating a guy who had prior losses. So maybe he can pull something out the bag of tricks. But as of right now, on paper, that's a difficult fight for him, and I would give him much props if he can take it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't see how that fight can happen.
I mean, it could happen. Anything is possible. I mean, he fought Shane Mosley in September. His money days are May and September, and, everybody says that he has to have somebody of Latin descent. And the fight with Shane Mosley pretty much debunked that theory, as it went over 1 million buys. So nothing is impossible. It's just highly unlikely that he chooses Trout.
You mean Canelo?
No, I'm talking Mayweather.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's highly unlikely that it happens simply because they're both Al Heyman fighters, and I just don't see how else it could happen.
Oh, it probably won't happen then, since you put it like that.
Yeah,
the probability. Man.
I think you're gonna have a hard time seeing a Canelo Trout fight too. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. As long as that Mayweather fight's dangling out there for Canelo, you may not see a Trout fight. My opinion.
I think that's in theory, though. I think that's in theory because the bottom line is, see, Canelo wants Golden Boy to give him a guarantee that a fight with Mayweather will happen if he signs whoever to fight on May 4th. The problem is Golden Boy can't guarantee him that because Golden Boy don't make Floyd decisions. Floyd make moves when Floyd make moves. And unless he says, yeah, I'll fight the guy in September, which you probably not going to get him to say because he kind of calls his own shots, they're always going to be in this bind, and it's probably going to be a prolonged time before we even see the official announcement for the May 4th card. So if they can get Floyd to agree to fight him in September, then, you know, we will see that announcement, and thus we will see the press tour and, you know, things of that nature to promote the fight. But if that's what Canelo's waiting on, then he's going to be waiting until May 4th, because that's not going to happen.
Floyd is not going to tell you like 8 months out that he's going to fight you. He usually tells you like 3 or 4 months out that, hey, you got the call, you want it, you take it, you don't, I'll take somebody else.
Bottom line.
Floyd's not, he's not worried about your schedule, he's worried about his schedule.
His schedule.
No doubt. I agree with that. But
it would be nice though to see Canelo Trout, because Lord knows Canelo needs to step up. Damn.
Absolutely.
Man, you know what I find weird? How this guy hasn't faced anybody. Anybody that you could call a threat. Anybody that you could call a live body. Anybody that had a fucking chance to win. And he has so much love. And I don't hate that. Because, you know, I love this sport and we need everybody to love boxing in order to keep boxing alive. But, I mean, the way these guys react for Canelo, dude, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. They defend him to the death when there's really no grounds for defense. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't faced anybody. He's a bunch of old guys on his resume. Dudes like that he made move up in weight. I mean, it's crazy for them to even assume that he could beat a Trout or he could beat a Mayweather. Like, his name get mentioned with so many other people, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Canelo beat him, and it's like, and what you basing that on?
Yeah, right.
What did he do?
Right.
I mean,
it's even funny.
Hey, Josh, let me mute you because you're still getting that feedback.
It's just you, Ness. It's just you. It's not him and me. It's just you.
You don't hear feedback when you talk?
No, I don't hear feedback when I talk or when Joshua talks. I only hear feedback when you talk.
You hear feedback when I talk?
That's only, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's you.
Hey, Josh, unmute yourself. Josh.
All right. Yeah, I'm here.
See, I didn't hear it. Now I hear it.
Yeah, but you're
let me
echoing.
turn it down some. Let me see if I turn. Hold on.
It's not you, Joshua. It's him. He's echoing, not you. You coming in crystal clear.
Beeb, I can hear you twice right now.
But I'm not hearing him echoing. I'm only hearing you echoing.
So you didn't hear that 2 times right now?
No.
Okay. I'll deal with it then. I hope everybody else is hearing it clear. I don't know.
I hear everybody crystal clear.
You don't hear no feedback?
No double voice, no feedback.
What about now?
No double voice, no feedback.
I guess it's only me. I don't know. I gotta figure this thing out, man. Just because it's hate it.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying though, bro. Cause he hasn't fought anybody except smaller guys or a shell of former greats like the old Shane Mosley, who was coming off of several losses, and of course that draw with Sergio Mora. I mean, basically Shane got old, and you know, then Canelo accepted the fight, or Canelo's people accepted the fight. It's still a dangerous fight because, you know, it's 2 men in the ring, and, you know, punches hurt, punches land. You can't block them all. And I give him credit for that because he won. That's what he was supposed to do. But he has not fought anybody from 1 through 5 in his weight. And until he does that, I think all the praise is a little bit premature. It's just star power. Because he hasn't proven that he can face the best at his weight yet, even though he has a belt. But we all know part of being champion is to defend. And you defend against the guy that earns the shot. And so far he hasn't defended against anybody who's earned a shot at that belt, at that weight. Lopez is a 40-pounder. Haddon is a 47-pounder. You know, things of that nature. So I feel exactly what you're saying, Ness. And that's why I just hope he fights Trout, because it makes all the sense in the world. He beat the guy. He beat his brother in front of him in Mexico for the WBA title. Why not unify and get, come to your brother's honor, his defense? You know what I'm saying?
You know what bothers me? He sat at the Delvin Rodriguez fight. Then he sat at the Cotto fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't fight this man now, you're ducking. There's nothing else to say, man. I don't see how people defend him, man. It's crazy.
Star power, man. They got expectations for him, but they're not gonna you know, accuse him of any wrongdoing. Only certain guys get labeled the duck, you know, ducking everybody, you know what I'm saying? But when there's guys that people like, oh, we'll just give him this opportunity to do whatever he wants, or, you know, it's not ducking because guys are not doing such and such. I mean, it's always some excuse, man. You gotta judge these guys on an even playing field, as if you were related to them all, or you didn't have favoritism for any of them. It should be one criteria, but the criteria changes depending on the fighter. Still and so, he needs to step up.
You're right about that.
But the skill is there, so I understand why people get behind him. The boy nasty. He's raw. He got good skills, and he's strong. And he put his punches together well. And you know, he fights like a true veteran fighter, mixes punches up and down like a true pro. I mean, he finds his shots. You know, he got good punch output. He can place his shots well. It's not like he's winging shots or looping it or telegraphing. He's crisp. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's ready. I don't know why they babying him. Take the fucking pacifier out of his mouth.
I mean, I agree with you on some of those points. Oh, man, this feedback is getting me fucking frustrated. I agree with you on some of those points. I think that he does look good. He does put together good combination punches. And he maybe is ready. But until, like you said, and you said it perfectly, until they take that pacifier out of his mouth, forget about it. You know, he's not doing it for me.
If Canelo doesn't fight Trout, then who?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be tough to find an opponent for him. You know, because again, they still want. I mean, they're looking with that Mayweather fight down the road, and I think that they're still banking on that happening at least at the end of the year, and they think that they can make it worth Floyd's while to sign that fight. So obviously they're gonna have to find someone that they feel comfortable that he's gonna be able to handle, because that fight is still out there. It's still gonna be out there.
Angulo,
I think that's a fight that could possibly happen. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
At least he's a 54-pounder.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that's the route that they're gonna take, man. They're throwing Trout's name out there and leaving the option open for Mayweather to get Canelo fans excited, because they defend him in this manner. Well, he was gonna fight Williams. He was gonna fight Kirkland. So it makes everything okay.
Yeah. Williams at that time was ripe anyways, just like Mosley was ripe. So like I said, I mean, they'll probably, you know, take the training wheels off after the Mayweather fight, but they want to get this kid that big payday first, I think. And it's going to be a big payday for everyone involved, because again, you put that in September during the Mexican Independence Day, and you're going to sell a lot of pay-per-views. No, it's almost impossible for that fight to not be a success monetarily.
Right. And it's kind of freakish, the star power this guy has. I mean, you can go anywhere, especially in the South. Yeah. They know who he is. It doesn't matter who he fights. They think this guy is a god. Yeah. Canelo. You know, you hear it in bars or in little fight parties and stuff like that. Because, you know, I'm cool with a bunch of Mexicans. Matter of fact, I'm cool with a whole bunch of Latinos. Of course, I'm cool with everybody, you know what I'm saying? But I'm in the South, you know what I'm saying? They're everywhere. You know, so, but when we all get together and watch fights, oh, yeah, you gonna hear cinnamon like a mother. Like it's some waffles being passed out, because they're definitely saying Canelo, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the guy has freakish star power. And before that, it was Chavez, because a lot of people would ask me, you know, is Chavez, you know, he's a beast, right? And I'm like, what? You gotta be kidding me. But that's star power for you, man. It even rubs off on judges, man. I'm telling you. So it is what it is, man. But we, the true hardcore boxing fans, know better. We know who the real killers are in each division. And if you are not facing at least once one of these guys, then it's hard for us to really get behind you and say you're this, that, and the third. Skill-wise, he's nice, but based on accomplishments, he don't really deserve a Mayweather fight. I mean, if he gets like a Mayweather fight, it's based on popularity alone.
Oh,
but he does deserve to fight a Trout because they're two titleists, and we need to find out who's champion at this weight.
Well, he's definitely getting a Mayweather fight based on the popularity and ticket sales, man.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Nothing else at all. And I think I might have the fix to this late. That might be it right there. We need a caller now. But you guys still hearing me double, right?
Not now.
No, I haven't heard you double the whole time.
Man, we need a caller. Let me see. ATL just asked was we live. Let me tell him, yeah, and send him a number. Beeb, you know help, dude. You stay leaving dead air.
Nah, I can talk, man. I can talk. But
you got into that show.
Now I'm starting to hear feedback a little bit.
Dude, you know I've been up since 6 in the morning trying to get this thing right, and I swore I had it right.
I know you're trying.
Damn, yo, this thing is killing me. This thing ain't no joke, man.
But I mean, again, we still have to talk about Guerrero because that's a fight that Mayweather is supposedly supposed to have in May. And although I feel Mayweather should handle Guerrero, what if he upsets the apple cart? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? And again, does anyone question how good Mayweather's going to be now after the jail sentence and just his current attitude about he's talking about real estate now, talking about his music business now,
right.
Really not talking about his boxing. And he's done this before, and he's still come back and showed us that he can still fight.
Yeah.
But at 35, you have to say something's got to be slipping, something's got to be going. You know what I mean? And if mentally you're not hungry like you once were, and you have to add in the age factor, that's a recipe for maybe a decline.
Yeah, well, I mean, with age, certain attributes start to decline. You know, we all know Power is the last to leave, but he's never been known as a one-punch KO artist, so it'd have to be in the speed department.
Yeah.
But based on his intelligence and ring savvy, I think he will be able to be a formidable threat to anybody he steps in the ring against. But, you know, as an opponent, as a guy who's looking to fight Mayweather, when you hear guys talk about everything outside of boxing and hinting on retirement, it is your job to make them realize that shit sooner than later. So if Robert Guerrero is going to be the B-side of this pay-per-view promotion, and his confidence is taking him to a whole nother level because he's fighting guys and beating guys he's expecting not to beat. Yeah, a lot of people, they're reducing Berto now, but prior, he was an underdog to Berto in most boxing circles. They were like, you know, Berto got the faster hands, he got the bigger punch, and then Robert Guerrero went in there and dismantled him. So for me, you know, I made videos saying that Robert should not fight Mayweather because he hadn't fought at welterweight. For me, it wasn't whether he could fight. I know he could fight. He fought at 26.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a big jump for him. And, you know, he fought very well against Berto. I thought he overexceeded expectations in that fight. I actually thought Berto was going to win that fight going in, but I don't know. Maybe can Guerrero raise the bar one more level from that Berto fight going into a Mayweather fight. That would be interesting. Because Mayweather is going to definitely present some bigger challenges and more challenges than Berto did. It's going to give him a lot of different dimensions. I mean, we all know Berto's weakness on the inside, but the surprising thing was Guerrero's strength on the inside in that fight, and what he brought to the table, and how he made that an in-trench war. And will he try to employ that same type of style and tactics in the Mayweather fight? Because he definitely is faster than an Ortiz. He may not hit as hard as an Ortiz, but you could say he's a better boxer. You could say he's quicker, and again, bringing that from the southpaw stance. But again, it's just hard for me to envision him doing that to Mayweather. But again, I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong.
Yeah, man. I think Guerrero is. I think Guerrero's going to put up a really good fight against Mayweather. He's going to put up that type of fight that Ortiz began with, but mentally checked out on, where he's coming forward and he's putting a lot of pressure on him. I would like to see the Guerrero fight. I would like for him to get the shot too, because, he went up against Aiden. He destroyed Berto. I mean, he deserves it. If anyone does, he does. I mean, Canelo hasn't done anything besides be able to sell tickets and be who he is. You know what I mean? If anyone deserves the fight, it definitely should be Robert Guerrero.
Absolutely.
Are you still getting feedback now? I did a few things.
I wasn't, but now I am a little bit.
Man, we need a tech in here. We need a tech to walk us through this thing. This is ridiculous. Yeah, man, I don't know. Using headphones, I'm trying to do everything possible. It's still not working. Switch these out. Beeb again, leaving me with the dead air, man. Everybody's falling asleep over there. You guys gotta understand, Beeb's like 66, man. He just looks young.
Absolutely. Well, let's get on the schedule.
Excited to have Carcino on here. Huh? Could you imagine Carcino? He loves YouTube anyway.
Yeah, he does. He does. Let's go over the schedule here, man. Let's see what other fights we can talk about. Definitely see what other fights we could talk about.
We could definitely end it. It was only we could do 8 more minutes, so it could be an hour and a half. But this was only a test, and clearly we still got some bugs.
You want to talk about that Molina-Danny Williams fight from ESPN2, or you want to save that for tomorrow?
I mean, again, like I said, this is a test, so probably tomorrow we're going to have to go over it anyway. But, man, Molina Williams let me down. How do you lose to Molina? Let's be honest.
Oh, you picked Williams yesterday?
Dude, he was supposed to win.
Nah, man. I didn't pick Williams.
Oh, so you're going to tell me you didn't see Hank fucking Lundy, feather-fisted Lundy, outbox Molina for what, 8 rounds?
Yeah, but you know what? Danny Williams, man, it's just something about him. He's just there's nothing that jumps out at me when I watch this guy. I mean, I actually think Hank Lundy is a much better fighter than Danny Williams, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of skill, I think he hits harder.
I can't argue with that simply because Lundy beat him, but Williams, I feel, possesses enough boxing ability to box from the outside and stay away, but he can't stay away from that right hand. It was ridiculous, man. I was frustrated watching this dude get knocked around the ring by one fucking hand.
But the problem with Williams is he'll stop. And it's almost like he just freezes sometimes and allows guys to get off on him. He has the ability to box, move, and get in and out and kind of establish range and not put himself in harm's way. But for whatever reason, he just gets those mental lapses and he just freezes in there. We talked about it last week, not knowing what he wants to do. Does he want to be a puncher? Does he want to be a boxer? What does he want to do in there? And he'd be much better served to just stick to the boxing role. But let's not take anything away from Molina. Molina does have an eraser when it comes to that right hand. That right hand of his is definitely a game changer in fights. And I'm going to be honest, I did pick DeMarco to win, but I was really surprised that Molina didn't give him more problems than what he did. And again, they kept talking about how Molina was going to have confidence problems, or they were in the announcers. I'm saying, not when I say they, I'm talking about Teddy Atlas and Joe Tessitore. They kept talking about the confidence issue with Molina. How would Molina be mentally going into this fight? Would there be some residual effect from the DeMarco fight carrying over into this fight? And I just didn't see that happening. I mean, I didn't think he was like really hurt. I just think he was overwhelmed, and it was like a situation where he just made a bad tactical move where he should have taken a knee instead of just basically crouching over and bending over like that. A lot of those shots were hitting his gloves, and I'm not questioning the stoppage, but I just don't think he was really hurt. It wasn't one of those devastating type knockouts. It was a knockout where you saw when the ref stopped it, he standed back up and he talked like he was normal. There was no signs of any damage to him. He wasn't really terribly hurt. It wasn't like he was incapacitated at all. So I just think that was a learning experience. It wasn't a fight that really took a lot out of him mentally and physically. It was just a tactical mistake. And you know, he.
Where do you go now?
Where does who go? Danny Williams?
Yeah, he lost to Lundy and Molina.
I'll tell you this, he's going to be on ESPN for a long time. I don't think he's going to go anywhere too past that, with all due respect. But this is a sport where you can reinvent yourself. You can rejuvenate yourself. And Danny Williams is definitely a good fighter. Whether or not he could be not a great fighter, whether or not he could be a notch above just being good, remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. John Molina, you have to say that the blueprint is out there on how to beat him. I mean, you box him. You box him. You move. You give him a lot of lateral movement. You give him a lot of angles. You watch out for the right hand, obviously, but that's the punch that you know is going to come. And if you know that punch is going to come, then basically you move away from it. Basically, you move away from it. You drop off your combinations, and you get in and you get out. And that's how you envision Danny Williams beating him last night. But again, for whatever reason, we've talked about this, he tends to just freeze up and stand there in the pocket. And if you're going to stand in the pocket, you have to move your hands. And he's a guy like Berto, where they get inside sometimes, they don't move their hands. They look for that one perfect shot. And when you're at close range, you got to open your opponent up. You got to throw a couple throwaway punches. You got to go head, body, head. You got to make the guy, your opponent, move his hands around to get the openings. You just can't stand there and wait for an opening and take that extra time to look for an opening. You got to create an opening when you're inside. You got to move your hands. And he didn't move his hands on the inside. And if you're going to sit there and wait and allow Molina to get the time to get that big right hand off when you're close, he's gonna throw it and he's gonna land it.
Hey, Beeb, you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Look, we got tweets saying that the feedback stops when Ashy is muted.
Oh, okay.
I told you, because I can hear it. I'm surprised you can't hear it. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing you twice.
Ashy is coming in crystal clear on my head, man. I'm just being honest.
I'm not saying he's not coming in crystal. I'm saying that his audio is, he's got a double feed somehow. I don't know what he does. Hold on, right? Look, you don't hear anything now.
I still hear it, yeah.
All right, what about now? Do you hear it now?
No.
Exactly. I just muted Ashy.
Oh, okay.
Hey, B, man, your ears getting old, man. It took you almost an hour and a half to realize that.
No, but it wasn't happening before, Nestor.
Yeah. Ashley, you probably got to turn down your volume, maybe. Because, you know what would stop that, too? Do you have an iPhone, Ashley?
He
Get
does.
your
He has an
earpiece.
iPhone.
Just plug it in. What's that? Bluetooth? Take yourself off of mute because I can't hear you.
Oh, what'd you say, dude?
I said, just plug in your earpiece and it'll stop the feedback.
Oh. All right.
I think we got it.
Yeah, B, talk. Now.
You hearing any feedback on me right now?
Absolutely not. We're gonna get this thing down, man. That's why I wanted to run it today, man, because I don't want to do it like that.
This is like a screen test. This is like when you're an actor and you walk in there, you got a screen test.
Yeah, man, because it was bad with Vera, bro. We had Vera on, and I didn't even get to interview him. It was so much.
It's gonna be worth it, though.
Vic do it.
It's gonna be worth it because once this thing does start running good, man, it's gonna be fire. I'm telling you.
Let me shout out to Boxing Dan, Boxing_Dan. No, Don, my bad. You were right, dude. I tried to tell them, they ain't believe me. It took you to tell them.
I'm sorry, Dan.
It's Don. It's Don.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Don.
But yeah, man, I don't know. What do we got? What do we got left? It should be only a few minutes left. I don't want to go too long on this.
Yeah, plus it's like 9:30. You know I got to get my beauty sleep.
Yeah, the old guy. But closing thoughts, Ashley Knuckles. Closing thoughts.
Yeah, my only closing thoughts is I hope they make the May 4th card worthwhile. You know, I mean, don't sell us any bullshit. I hope this will actually be the date that Canelo steps up and make it a worthy challenge. You know, don't just go in there with somebody you're supposed to destroy and then destroy him and then everybody give you all this props. And as well for Floyd, I hope he gets in there with somebody who will pose a decent challenge. I know it's hard to pick out guys who will actually give him that type of challenge and at the same time can carry a pay-per-view from the B side, you know, because we already know he about that paper. So,
but let me ask you,
we'll see.
You don't think Guerrero poses a challenge? I mean, watching Victor Ortiz have his spots, I think, especially if Guerrero comes in with that mindset that he went into the Berto fight, he could make this ugly, man.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I already knew he could fight. My whole thing is could he fight at this very accomplished champion? He's won titles at every weight that he's been at. And he's fought good guys at every weight he's campaigned. So if there's anybody who should be the front runner for the fight, it would be a Guerrero. You know?
I agree. I'd like to see Guerrero get lucky and stick that thumb in Mayweather's eye. See how he fights with some closed eyes. Because Berto, man, he showed some fucking heart staying in that fight like that.
Yeah.
He did have that spot. I don't know if people heard it in the corner, man, when he wanted to pull out, but he sucked it up, man, and he manned up and he stood in that fight. But God,
that must be
ugly.
That must be the worst feeling in the world when you can't see. I mean, anything else, but not being able to see, that must be scary. Going out there, a guy's throwing bombs at you and you can't see him coming. I don't know how fighters are able to weather that. You know, I don't know how they're able to weather that.
If they have a rematch and nothing happens to the eyes, do you think there's any difference? Because before you answer, I'm going to tell you my thought. I don't think there's a difference. Guerrero just seemed too strong. He was pushing him back. He was muscling him around. I never thought that a guy coming up from 135, even though he already had one fight at 147, I just never thought he would be able to do that, especially looking at Berto's physique. He's always been so muscular. It was ridiculous to watch him get thrown around the ring like that.
Well, it could be one of those instances where he was caught off guard, because I'm going to be honest with you. I was caught off guard. Not in my wildest dreams did I expect Guerrero to fight that type of fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Even attempt to fight that type of fight. So maybe Berto was just caught off guard. And if he trains for a rematch, at least now he can anticipate that. Even still, I agree with you. Berto's never been one of those guys to be able to deal the guy on the inside very well. Victor Ortiz definitely showed us that. But at least I would say that the fight could be a little more competitive and maybe the eyes wouldn't get closed. It's one of those cases now, though, is Berto going to swell up every time he gets hit? Because there could be scar tissue developed over those eyes. You know what I mean? Even, what was another fight, I believe? The Zabic fight, he was starting to swell a little bit there. But Zabic was just swelling more than him. So
I always wanted a rematch of that fight, man. I thought Zabic.
Yeah, I wanted a rematch of that fight too, but yeah, I think I would pick Guerrero in the rematch, but it's one of those things where it could be a more competitive fight, where it would be Berto would have more moments. But you have to give Berto credit for having a lot of success with the uppercut too. He had a lot of success with the uppercut. The one surprising thing to me was there was just not a left hook coming after that uppercut. That's another one of Berto's problems, I think, too, is he'll land a big shot and he'll just step back and admire his work.
Yeah, right.
He really got to move his hands. You got to throw combinations.
Keep his hand up. He'll throw that right and he'll just bring it back and leave it up.
Stop. Boom, he's like, take that, now fall.
Yeah.
Guy didn't fall. What you want to do? Take that, now fall. It ain't gonna happen. Same thing when he hit Ortiz. He hit Ortiz with the right hand, right? He knocked Ortiz down, and he goes like this, like the big chopping overhand, boom, and then he goes like that, and he stands back, and he poses like, wow, look what I just did. And it's like you're supposed to jump right after that with a left hook, and he didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what's another interesting thing? Even though Mayweather has this excellent accuracy, Berto hit Guerrero with some clean some clean uppercuts.
Yes. Yeah.
That I don't think it's going to make a difference how accurate Floyd is. I think we can pretty much tell that Guerrero is going to be able to take his shots. Now, is he going to get worn down from all those clean shots by a Mayweather? Possibly. But could he take them? I'm gonna bet that he can.
But can I ask you this? If Mayweather's landing an uppercut, do you think that there's going to be a left hook behind it, or do you think Mayweather's going to stand there? That's the thing. Mayweather doesn't throw a ton of combinations all the time, but once he starts flowing, once he can hit you clean one time, more often than not, he's gonna follow up with something. He'll follow up with a left hook after a right hand. It's not going to be like Berto and just throw the right hand.
The thing is this, B, if you watch that fight, Berto would land the uppercut, but there wasn't any room for a left hook because even his head was snapped back, Guerrero was in his chest.
But there's a way to do that. All you got to do is just slide your body and then turn it and come over the top with a short hook. And you can do that. If the guy leaning on you, all you got to do, he's leaning this way, right? You just turn your body. You can turn your body like this. You can turn your body like that. And you can stick your elbow, it's not your elbow, your shoulder in between his pecs. And then basically, you're pushing him back. You just boom like that. And you can give him that bump. You give him that little bump.
You're forgetting one thing. You're forgetting one thing. Mayweather's you can get in one thing. Mayweather's an orthodox fighter, so that right hand is the hand he's going to use to throw the uppercut. He's going to be pushing off with that elbow up against the ropes. First, he's going to keep the elbow covering the liver. When Guerrero gets close enough, they're on the ropes. He's going to put that elbow somewhere in the chest and the neck area. He's going to swing that right uppercut. I don't see how now he's going to use his shoulder to pivot, push off, and come back with a left hook.
This is what he's going to do, like he did against Ortiz. Guerrero's going to come, and he's going to try to lay on him. Mayweather's going to be like this.
Come on, man. We've seen your videos of
Mayweather's going to go like this.
Driveway. Just stand up, move back a little bit, and show us how it's done.
He's going to go like this. He's going to push him off and then hook. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to stand there trying to punch while he's smothered. He's going to push him out and get that nudge him forward and get that little gap. Then he's going to come back with his left hook. And then after he lands his left hook, then he's going to throw the right hand. Mayweather will.
Actually, you know what he's not calculating?
What's that?
The fact that Guerrero may have, let's say, he's a southpaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Southpaw. So he may have that left arm. No, he's leading with his right. So he may have that right arm on Mayweather's left arm while he's working with the left hand.
Right.
But Mayweather's not going to complain to the referee when you grab one of his arms.
You ain't going to grab his arms.
He going to be steady.
He keeps his arms close to his body.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, if he's not
Actually, you ain't even got to do that. We hear you clearly. You don't even got to worry about that.
Oh, okay. If he's not using upper body movements to get away from the shots, he's bending over to his right. That's one thing about Mayweather. When you get close to him, he ain't gonna reach out and grab you so you can hold on to him.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna be real close to him, and if you're not calculated, you're gonna eat something in return. Now, I'm telling you, he's not gonna grab you in close. He's gonna stay right there in there with you.
No, I'm saying if Guerrero tries to grab Mayweather like he grabbed Berto's arm,
right?
Berto was just standing there complaining to the referee,
right?
Calling for the break. If Mayweather's getting grabbed with one arm, he's gonna be steady hitting you with the other hand. That's what I'm trying to say. Because Ness was saying, what if Guerrero gets inside and grabs Mayweather and tries to tie him up with one arm and not let him throw punches? Mayweather's gonna have that other hand free, like Berto had that other hand free, and he's gonna be punching with it.
Yeah.
Mayweather won't complain to the referee.
If Robert Guerrero can actually grab his arm, because
it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
When you ever see Mayweather clinch, that's not something he don't reach out and grab a guy.
No.
Or when you get close to him, his arms are on his person, so you're gonna have to actually take his arm away from his body to hold on to him.
Yeah.
Because he's not gonna reach out for you. He's gonna let you get as close as you want, and once you miss, you pay.
And if you notice too, when guys do try to grab him, he'll be like, he's always pushing guys off him like that.
Yeah.
He's like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if Guerrero can employ them same tactics against Mayweather, or if he'll even try to.
He may try to box.
Yeah, he may try. He may say to himself, I have to box. You know.
Now let me ask you guys something. Very intriguing question is, who's the referee? We all know George Cortez
or Jay Nady.
Mayweather's fight.
Right.
He's retired now. Who's going to protect Mayweather from such a deadly inside fight that we all know he hates?
Jay Nady.
Yeah.
Could be.
Isn't Nady the guy that reffed the Judah Khan?
No, he reffed one of Judah's fights where
Costa Zoo,
yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Khan fight too? Well, that was Draculich.
I can't remember who reffed the Khan fight, but I know he reffed the Costa Zoo one.
It may be Draculich because he'll stop a fight in a heartbeat too.
Yeah.
And he's quick on the trigger, man. It may be Weeks, Tony Weeks.
Tony Weeks.
Mm-hmm. We know it's not gonna be Steve Smoger. I know that.
No.
Yeah, it was Draculich. It was Draculich for the Khan Judah. Man, I wonder who is Mayweather gonna pick.
Could be Kenny Bayless too.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny Bayless won't break it up as much as Mayweather wants. I would love it for it to be Kenny Bayless, Steve Smoger. Man, who else? Oh, that guy. The guy from Washington in the Amir Khan versus Lamont Peterson.
Nah, it ain't gonna be him. That guy, you ain't gonna see that guy again for a long time.
As long as it's not well, actually, nah, I don't want him either. The dude from the Butte Andrade fight.
Nah, you won't see him.
Oh, no.
What do you think they're gonna fly him in from Canada or something?
Oh man! All right, guys, let's end it, man. Thanks for helping me out, Ashy. Hope to have you back on. This has been another edition, even though it was a test show. We'd like to thank all the callers that did call in, and leave me some comments, email us, leave it on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google Plus, whatever. Let us know what we can do to improve, man. We're always working to get better. All right, guys.
All right, man.